For.
It's been a couple years.
Say hi to my good buddy, Donny
Hey.
Walker. Okay. Friends, good evening. A very special guest just popped by. Our good friend. You're not going to believe this. I'm stoked. We've been trying to... Donny, how long have we been trying to do this for?
It's been a couple years.
Say hi to my good buddy, Donny
Hey.
Walker.
How's it going there?
This guy is a close friend of mine. He's the guy that handed... What is that, Don?
Got you a shirt?
Oh, you're kidding me.
What do you think of that?
Donny Walker.
Got that from my buddy Jabo up in Coombs.
Jumbo?
Yeah.
You are kidding. Is he selling those now?
He does, yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
There you go, bud.
Oh, Donny, you're too cool. So friends, this is the man that handed me, when I lied my way into the bush, he's the man that handed me my 394 and said, we're not giving you a 72 because you'll break it. And he was right. I would have broke it, pulling on it. And I'll tell you that we go back, so I'm just so excited right now I can barely spit. Donny's here. I got one of my 850s, friends. And he's going to kind of, like you guys know, I've been flying by the seat of my pants forever. He's going to show me the actual, I mean, his dad is Bob Walker, the McCulloch man. And Donny, you kind of broke in on these, didn't you? Break your teeth on these a little bit? Not necessarily. Yeah, I mean,
definitely for sure. When I was, 11, 12 years old, I worked at my dad's shop where he worked at for old Fedgy in Henderson.
Yeah, cutting your teeth on the...
McCulloch distributor.
That's right.
Canada.
With Stevie Bradbury.
Yeah, all them guys. And I actually I first started off on Mini-Max.
That's right, you told me that.
I would do all the warranty work on them. So they come in with little problems, and I would take them apart. And yeah, I'm a master at Mini-Max, but I'm going to show you one day how to do those.
Good.
Some carb kits for them. I'll show you how to do the points and condenser on them.
Are you listening to this, friends? He's going to show me how to do this.
How to check the timing and just how to put them all together.
Because people curse at those little saws.
They do, but you know what? I'll show you a way. It's so simple.
They can break down.
You basically got to take the whole engine out of the housing.
That's right.
You got to know the sequence, how to put an elastic band on the little boiler rod and the throttle.
Yep.
So when you put it back together, it's so easy. But yeah, we'll go over that another time.
Friends, Walker Wednesday. It's perfect. I love it. Okay, good.
We're talking hamburgers, Wendy here.
That's right. So anyways, friends, I'm so tickled. So he's going to show us some stuff on the Mac stuff, which I'm freaking out about. What are we doing?
So I think what we should do is tear it apart. And we're going to tear it apart.
Okay.
And then we're going to see what's with this one.
Exactly.
Hopefully it's in good shape.
Yeah.
And then we're going to measure the port timing.
Yeah.
And then we're going to see what we need to do to fix it and make it go better.
Yeah, and maybe take a look at the pot and piston, see if we maybe do a little port job on it at some point.
That's right. And I think we are going to do a port job on it.
Oh, yeah.
And I will do it once after I measure it, because good old Bobby Walker can't quite remember the numbers, but we'll figure it out again.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, talk to you in a minute, friends. Okay, Don Walker. So let's get this thing moving here. I am just so tickled. Can't believe it. Is the shop busy, Don?
Yeah, super busy.
Yeah. Flowers going pretty steady?
Not really. It's just all the homeowners.
It is, isn't
Everyone's
it?
home doing things, right? No, that's good.
You sure?
Yeah, just give me a second.
Okay.
Get a screwdriver.
What do you need?
Long flat blade.
Flathead?
Yep.
Done. Good, huh? Could even drop two in, couldn't you?
Yeah, let's go too.
Yeah, let's do it. Makes it thicker. There we go. And then I'll make sure. So what we're doing, friends, as you can tell, we're doing the old school thing where we bring the piston up top dead and we drop the rope in. It's an old trick, but it does work. It's just...
Yep. Get it top dead, drop it back a bit, then turn it back again.
Yeah, and now we see, now we're on the ropes. So Don can now pop that clutch off. There he goes. See, he popped that. He's done this 1,000 times, so he had to put a fair bit of stank on that, friends, to get that off. And out comes the cord.
Just watch when you put that rope in, you don't have the piston down too far, or you can get it caught in the transfer port, then you got to take the whole engine apart. So you got to really be careful.
So you bring it up top dead center is what you do. Yep. Bring it right up, back it off a little,
just
stuff
like
her down.
About half an inch. Then put
exactly.
It
okay, good to know.
Okay, there's our clutch off.
It popped right off. Yeah. That's a bonus.
You gotcha.
This saw, I think, is...
It's in pretty good shape there, man.
I've got a good feeling about this power saw. Donny Walker's here, friends. Donny Walker. Bobby, are you watching? Hi, Holly.
Let's try to keep this together. We'll get a little box and put some little nuts and bolts in.
I'll get a box. Buckin's going to go get a box. I'm freaking stoked. Oh, we've been trying to do this for 2 years, friends. No joke. I'm not kidding you. It's been so long we've been trying to do this. I'm just going to get a little box so that we can put our little parts in, friends. There. But what I better do is put a piece of cardboard down here, because you know it and I know it. What'll happen is we'll probably, you know what'll happen. We'll lose it. That should be all right. That should be okay. Use this one, friends. We just use this, Don, eh?
Yep, perfect, bud. Yep. Got a little, maybe a little bag to put a little stuff in, though.
Yep. Ziploc?
Yeah, just a little one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna work nice, Don.
Okay, perfect.
My buddy Don Walker and I are, he's showing me how to do this, friends. This teardown McCulloch ordeal.
This time will be the teardown. Then we're going to go through the theory of how the saw works.
Teardown, then theory.
And then how the motor itself works.
In the timing and that.
Timing of the port timing,
yeah.
Which a lot of people have different ideas of, but I know the basic and really how it should be.
You do, don't you?
Some guys you see on the internet, they talk a lot of crap. Some guys are right, some guys are wrong. But
there is the odd good guy, isn't there, Don?
There's definitely some good guys.
Yeah.
But we'll just do a basic job for a good work saw.
Friends,
that's what we want.
I want you friends to know something, okay? This man here, his dad and him, we can blow that right out right now. I got compressor.
Yep, that's okay. We'll
if you want.
We'll get the frame off.
Okay. This man's tore apart hundreds of these. He just has. I got it. You go ahead. You know what I mean, friends? Like he's so information that's coming from Donny Walker is speaking from experience, friends. Straight up experience. And on this channel, I like going to the source. Do you know what I mean, friends? Like you guys come here to learn about certain things that I do. Well, I come to see him when it comes to stuff like this, or his dad, or Bear Claw. Guys that have been after this stuff for 30 years and 40 and 50 years. He can do this with his eyes closed. I do.
Well, I'm 54 now, and I've been doing it since I was about 12, so what's that?
You have
42 years. It's a long time.
You've been, we're getting older,
God darn, we're old.
I love it.
Oh, old school standard bolts, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so, these were actually a pretty good saw to work on. They weren't that hard. They like once you got the sequence of how to take them apart.
Yeah, it was more or less the gas tank and the boot system wasn't that people
right. Yep.
suffered with.
Yeah.
The first one I done, Don, all by myself, was a 570, which is basically this size smaller saw.
Exactly. Yeah.
50 something cc's, 58 cc's. Yeah. But I mean, this thing's almost tore down.
All right, look at that. Motor's out.
Yeah.
Pretty basic, man. You know, if a guy bets a set of handlebars or a frame when he's up in camp or something, it's not that hard to do.
No,
right?
so that's the beautiful
So
thing
we
about
just got to remember that though. With that bolt.
Oh yes.
It's got that washer there and then that bolt. So it's important to make sure we don't lose that. Okay, it's stuck in there. Okay, let's leave it like that then. With that mount, yeah.
Because that went right up against the power head, didn't it?
That's right.
Okay.
And it has to have that spacing to work right.
Yeah.
With the mount.
That's true. So let's leave this so that we don't get your guys' way. So friends, I'm just freaking tickled because I'm letting Donnie do this right now. He's just popping off the vent. We'll check all our hoses. So he just pulled off the, you call that the pulse line, don't we, Don?
That's right. Yeah, the pulse line.
He just pulled the pulse line off underneath here. See, I'll bring the camera over so you guys can see what he's doing. And I'll walk you through this because this man's just going at this like it's just, he's sleeping and doing it.
And that's a big thing with these old saws where they've been sitting around. These pulse lines can get rotten.
They can.
And then it won't.
That one almost looks like it.
You don't get the pulsation to the carburetor, so the thing won't run. So
Yeah.
a lot of people don't take them far enough apart to look at that. So this one looks in good shape.
Wouldn't that mean
so
it would be getting air? Then basically is what's happening.
It'll get air, but it won't pump the fuel to run properly. That's the big thing.
Okay, so that's what was happening to my 570, I think. Oh no, the boot, was that the same thing if the boot's gone?
Yeah, same thing with the boot, but the pulse. The boot could be good, but the pulse line, if it's wrecked, then it won't run the fuel pump of the carburetor.
Yes.
And then you won't get fuel. So then you're screwed.
Yeah. So a lot of people and what's a quick fix? Spraying some stuff in there, Don. Fire it up. Spray some brake cleaner in there and see if it stalls out.
You can, or basically, exactly that'll work. But you're best to kind of look at it visually.
Yes.
To see if it's rotten.
Yeah.
And then replace it, or if you can't get the OEM type line for it, then just put a generic line on there as long as the fittings are tight.
Got
and it doesn't have any holes in it.
See, when I watch a guy do this, I'm so gingerly work my way through. This guy just rips. He's done it so many times. He just pop, poop, right? He's in there. I'm thinking I'll rip something or break something. He's just. It's the difference between knowing what you're doing and being a backyard boneyard guy like me. See, he just rips and tears, and there it is. And actually,
need some needle nose pliers, bud.
Done. Well, these little guys work. They're a nice little set, Don.
Yeah, for sure. Perfect. So yeah, then as you're working on older saws, you got to watch these things like I'm dealing with right now, the fuel line.
You can rip them,
and that's the thing. You got to remember a two-stroke's like an air compressor. It takes air in and air out. So the air in and air out can't have any leaks in between. So you can't have any seals leaking on the motor,
gaskets,
boots in the carburetor, gaskets, or the pulse line, and then your fuel line. If you got a pinhole from the fuel filter to the carburetor, it won't run right. So guys chase problems like looking for air leaks, doing their carburetors.
So you can, let me interrupt you there. So you can still have all your seals, everything's groovy, but if you've got a hole in the fuel line inside the tank or something.
Or close to the carb, yeah.
Or anywhere near, it's not going to run right. Now he's taking that gas tank off now, friends. Now here's something crazy. This gasket right here, Don, I took out about 4 of my 850s one day. And I did the old spray, the brake clean in there.
In that area.
They stalled out. 3 of them stalled out.
They leak. They're leaking.
So the gaskets are gone.
That's right. Gone, or the not right one. Some people could have put it together and not put the right gasket on. You got to make sure the gasket's going to cover the bolt holes.
Yeah.
Line up with the pulse hole, which
is your fuel.
To your pulse line, which runs your fuel pump. So if that's not lined up properly, it won't run right.
Yeah.
Or it'll suck air and lean out and even blow up, in the cases.
So this is really cool, Freds. This is so cool. Thanks for coming over, Don.
No problem.
So we'll try and do this a little bit here and there. We'll go through this, get what we can tonight. The tear down.
You betcha. We'll tear it down. We're going to take the motor semi apart.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to bring back 360-degree wheel. And we're going to port time it.
A degree wheel.
And I'm going to show you how what the port timing is of this motor.
That excites me,
actually. And then I'm going to check some of my dad's old notes, because we used to Walkerize quite a few of these years ago. And even actually balance them. We used to actually even balance the crankshafts, but McCullochs were so smooth anyways, most of the time you didn't need to do that.
Right.
They're ahead of their time.
Yes, they were.
Anti-vibration and really power-wise.
Yeah.
Power to weight ratio.
You're absolutely right. Friends, look, I can't believe this has been used too, Don, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, came out of my toolbox.
MC, a freak. Look at this, friends. Look at what Donny's given me. It's a flywheel puller, truly, from McCulloch, right there. MC. That's nuts.
Right from Robert McCulloch.
Robert McCulloch, that's right. So you're popping off the 2 screws that hold the boot down now.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep, no time we'll have this off.
Isn't he the guy? Isn't he? He's good on camera too, isn't he, friends? Oh, I know he's smooth.
We got the switch wire off. We got the bolts off. Now we're gonna take our oil tank cover off because there's a bolt in there that holds the tank down. So we're gonna drain the oil. Got a little thing for that there, bud?
I do.
I think there's a little bit in here. Ooh, yeah.
Yes, indeed I do. Shaklank.
Right on, bud. Okay, so we're gonna need find me a 7/16 wrench out of that there box there. I think
Open end?
Yeah, it might be on the other side of it.
I got, no, they look. So friends, this is exciting for old Buck and Billy Ray, let me tell you that. Because of the knowledge I'm gonna learn from Donny. There's Mr. 7 right there.
Yeah, I'm used to when I was a kid, we'd friggin' have these suckers pulled apart in the afternoon and back in the old box in the morning for the loggers to head back to work.
You would, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, man.
These guys were like, let's get this going right now. Is this a carburetor thing?
It is, and I'm gonna show you about that in a little bit here.
Look at this, friends.
Carburetor pressure gauge.
Carburetor pressure gauge. These are things that.
Got in a rag or in some sort of soaker.
Like this?
You want to get it dirty?
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about that. Wait, just to throw that down?
Just the oil's
Oh, that's no problem.
Alright, 7/16.
Yeah, throw that
I'm
down.
gonna take this one bolt off.
So you see this, friend? There's a bolt inside the oil tank that holds the gas tank on. What a simple system, Don.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah,
it?
you actually had you could hold it at the top with the 7/16.
Yeah.
And then go from the bottom because it is actually a lock nut, so it's actually giving me a little bit of trouble. So
I'll give you
another 7.
Yeah, I got one right here.
Coil from
That
the coil.
does.
That's right. That ground wire.
Interesting, friends. That's an interesting note.
Or the switch wouldn't work because you
See?
have to have a ground.
That's a ground wire. Grounds the motor to the tank.
That's right. That's right. The motor to the tank.
Yeah.
Where the switch.
Because the switch is on the tank. So that is very interesting. I did not know that. I just didn't know what it was for.
That's right. So yeah, most people don't. Yeah, they don't figure that out. Then you have your manual oiler. As I lift this tank off now,
Yeah, that goes in.
the manual oiler goes into the plunger here.
Yeah.
Okay? So
And that-
when you take it off,
Yeah.
you gotta kind of work the mounts out
Yeah, I know. I've done
in
this.
the back.
They kind of pop out of here, don't
That's
they?
right. You just gotta give them out.
See, Donny's in there. He's just
Go
look at
up
him.
there.
See, he just gets at it,
Pull it forward.
and it's out.
There's your rod now for your manual oiler,
Yeah, right there.
and it fits into the.
Now, do you want me to blow that off real quick?
Yeah, we will in 1 second.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
So yeah, so there's your the ground strap for the switch.
Okay.
Manual oiler, your pulse line,
Yeah.
and our boot that has a hole in it.
There it is, right there. Ground strap for ignition. I did not know that.
Yeah. So that's grounding, the tank to that. So your switch shuts it on and off.
Yes.
Because you look at, there's only one wire.
Yep.
One wire to the coil. So you got to have a ground.
Got it. Makes sense. Simple. This saw doesn't look bad. How's our
it's pretty
boot?
good.
We're gonna find
We'll
out.
find out in a second. We're going to take this top plate off. They always use a little lock thing here on these.
Ah, yes.
So the bolt didn't fall out.
So you tap it out.
Tap that off there. Get your old 7/16 again.
$850 teardown. I'm loving this. This is so cool. Now, my thing
It's
is,
3/8 actually.
oh, is it done? Have you? Let's
I
check.
got 3/8. I got 3/8.
Yeah. Okay, friends. I'll be back in a flash.
So one thing's nice about this one bucket is it's got all the standard screws. No one's changed the screws.
You're kidding.
So it's got all the original stuff. Okay. So I got all the screws off now for the back cover.
Yeah.
heat
There was just
shroud.
like a couple, 3 screws in there.
Couple 3 screws. I know which ones go, but the test will be when you put it back together, where the screws go.
Oh,
Woohoo!
I guess I'm putting it back together.
Jeez, yeah.
Now, did you get that? You didn't get that top plate. You went after the side that thing. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the shroud, the cooling shroud,
Got it.
basically. So now I'm going to take the top manifold cover off,
Okay.
where the air boot is, and we'll check sure the rubber's good.
Good.
Rubber boot.
Yeah, it's basically a
And
teardown, isn't it?
It is. We're not that far from it being completely apart, really. Like I say, they're not that bad. They don't take much to do.
I love working on these saws. I do. I honestly do. And the more tricks I can learn, I lose it. I lose it when it gets time to anything to do really with, like, I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at this stuff. Each time I go in a little deeper and a little deeper.
So there we go. There's our intake off. Now,
So there's our intake. Look at this.
What McCulloch has here is they have
So look at
actually
this.
a phenolic spacer. I call them phenolic spacers because what they are is a heat sink, basically. So the engine heat doesn't boil the carburetor.
Yes, which
So
is
you
that.
need to have this proper spacer under here, what I call the intake manifold.
Yes.
Or I call them a phenolic spacer. Everyone's called them that for years in different companies. So that there stops the heat from going to there. Okay.
And is there a gasket there too? No.
There is a gasket.
Oh yeah, yeah.
On the bottom here to the cylinder.
Yeah.
That one looks in good shape, but because it's not torn, what we'll do is when we put it together, because we don't have gaskets.
No.
Is we're gonna put some gasket glue on there, like a gasket eliminator, so that way if it did weep a little bit before, it ain't gonna weep now.
Got it.
So this manifold fits up against this rubber boot, and you got to make sure that's in decent shape, right?
Yes.
And once you tighten the bolts down to the manifold, it sucks the rubber against this phenolic spacer, so it seals properly.
Interesting.
Okay, so now we're gonna take the boot out of the
yeah, and that
manifold
just pops
housing.
right out of there.
So the
very
manifold
simple.
housing is very simple, man. There's nothing to it, really. Right?
No.
Okay, so that's off.
Do you kind of miss working on these old things, Donny, now and
Yeah,
again?
sometimes, yeah, for sure, man. But they just take time, and you can't get parts, so we got to be careful, right?
Yeah.
Now our boot looks good. We're gonna let's take it.
I got some spray there if you need it too.
Yeah, we'll be okay.
You're just gonna pull that right.
Looking for rips. It all looks in good shape, actually. Yeah, I think it's fine. Once we clean it up, we'll look at it.
Beautiful.
Yep, that's good.
Okay, so there it is, friends. Let's have a little peek at this thing in there.
So there we go. So there's our piston. That's our intake of the piston.
Oh.
And you know what? Wow, it's in good shape. A lot of times you'll see wear on the intake of the piston lines, vertical lines up and down.
So what are those, Donny? Talk to me about this.
The vertical lines up and down will be like guys using bad air filters, like holes in the air filter, or a real fine fur dust will get through the filters.
Yep.
But McCulloch had a really good filter. They have what you call a flock filter.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for fines to get through. So
this thing's in okay shape, is what
it's in good shape. Yeah, good shape. No
those
problem.
little lines don't mean nothing. Those little up and...
No, there's no really up and downs on this one. It looks in good shape. So now we're going to pull the exhaust off and look at the other side.
So that's nothing. I see a little bit of up and down, but it's nothing.
No, it's nothing. So
Interesting.
it's in
Good.
shape.
Good to know.
So now, we'll pull the muffler off now. We'll look at that.
Okay, a ton of compression. Donny, this thing's freaking stock.
It is. No, it's good.
That's why I hung that one up there. This was the one I wanted to build because I knew it was in good shape.
Good one, Buggin.
I picked a good one.
Okay, so now let's get this exhaust off.
That muffler's mint.
Exactly.
So you see that little thing there? That's there so that what a neat thing, Don. They were smart.
Yep, definitely.
McCulloch was smart.
They did some smart things, and they were basically the king of the woods.
Yep.
Their first one-man saws were like
revolution.
Pretty much the best. With different designs. Mr. McCulloch. He wasn't just chainsaws. The guy was an inventor, man. He did amazing stuff.
You're right. He was. He definitely was. He was kind of
my dad told me a story when one time he was in a restaurant. Maybe you heard this before, but I'm going to tell you. And he was sitting there, and he needed a napkin. And there's just a pile of napkins in. They're laying all over the place. And the girl's like, "Oh man, it's always terrible. These napkins are all over the place,
Your dad told me this.
And he decided, you know what? I'm gonna make some. I'll be back. He came back, and he was the guy that invented that square stainless steel thing that you pull the napkins out of, the spring-loaded. He invented that.
Yeah, that was his mind, right? That was McCulloch's mind. He was an inventor.
Yeah. Okay. Exhaust bolts out. We got one more on the other side. Keep all this together. Do you have any Allen wrenches?
I do.
Oh,
you got it?
I might have something here. I think I might get some.
You do.
Maybe. Never tried this set before. Let's see what we got here.
Now I've got This might even, no, that's probably too.
Oh, got her, bucket.
Oh, you got her.
Got her.
Good.
Okay, where's my little thing to fit that though? To fit that, I think it's out there.
What? Oh, for your,
Look at that.
Donny, you're on a roll.
I think I bought that.
See, it's because of this
Little
old school.
set there. There we go. We got the motor.
So what do we look at now? Exhaust side on the
Yep,
piston.
let's look at the exhaust. Ooh. Rings are free. It's got a little bit of a line there, but you know what that line's from?
No, I don't.
You know how people used to say with hot rods and stuff, carbon kills?
Yes.
They're exactly right, man.
Really?
So carbon
Falls off and goes in there.
Well, no, it gets built up on the port.
Okay.
You see how this port's got this step to it?
Yeah, yeah.
So this carbon builds up there, and carbon's harder. It's the hardest. You got to think about it. Carbon steel, they call it, or,
Yeah.
or carbon carbide things. You know.
Yeah.
It's very hard. So what happens? It builds up, and it starts to rub on the piston, and it makes lines on it. Starts to score it.
So that's what that is. I see that a lot.
That's right. And even like when I'm modifying a saw that's already been used, and it's got carbon, like a stock saw, when I take it apart after about 6 months, it'll have about an 1/8 inch gap of carbon on each side of the port. But when I port them and polish them, that stuff doesn't stick. But with a stock exhaust port, it's got
Because
that rough aluminum.
That's
It
right.
sticks to it.
Interesting.
When I polish it, it flows off, doesn't stick.
Very interesting.
So that's what makes the saw last longer.
That makes a lot of sense.
So this thing's in great shape. 2 thin rings, which is normal.
Yeah, and so that's not a big deal, Don. Those little.
It's in great shape.
It is, eh?
Great shape.
Interesting. So I need to look at this and see what he's calling great shape. There's vertical.
Rings are free. There's no scoring.
Now scoring, you'd see the scoring.
Oh yeah, you see
It
the
grooves.
pistons.
They're grooves, right?
Exactly, and that melting line.
Okay,
right?
so those little teeny things we see there from that carbon, no big
Oh,
deal.
that's nothing. We'll
You
fix
clean
it.
that up.
We'll fix it up. So now what we're gonna do? We're gonna set this thing up. I'm gonna bring a dial indicator and a degree wheel, and we're gonna do the port timing. So basically, right now, you see how the piston just starts to open
Yep,
on the intake?
yep.
I'm going to measure how far that piston opens and closes. That'll tell me the intake timing. Very simple.
Okay.
Exhaust, same thing.
You're kidding.
When the exhaust port just starts to open, as you can see daylight, I'll try to light through the spark plug hole, and it opens fully and closes, that's your exhaust timing.
Now, what do you mean? There's a number.
There's a number.
Yeah.
So it'll be probably like 150 degrees, maybe on both, or maybe a little bit more. I forget what the McCulloch figures were, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Cool. So a 2-stroke engine, it can be 10 cc's or 500 cc's.
Yeah.
The port timing works exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's air in, air out.
Yeah.
And that's where I said before, where air is very important. You can't have any leaks, like seal leakage, pulse line leakage,
Yeah.
boot leakages, fuel line leakage, and debris in the carburetor.
Yes.
Okay?
How do you tell you have a seal leak? How can you
What
tell
you need
that?
to do then is you pressurize the motor.
That's right.
So we have adapters at work. A lot of them we made years ago because we couldn't buy them.
That's right.
So what we would do is just put a piece of rubber over the exhaust and bolt the exhaust back on.
Yep.
Put a adapter, take the carb off, put an adapter on there with an air fitting. Pump it up with the carburetor pumper to 10 pounds and it should hold air. If it doesn't, we spray soap and water around to see if a seal's leaking, crankcase gasket's leaking,
Interesting.
boot leaking, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Then you know you got an air leak.
Yeah.
So then you need to fix that because if it leads out, it's going to blow up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we do that on every motor.
You do, don't you?
Yeah, if you know there's a problem.
Exactly.
Because you can start replacing parts and go, that didn't fix it.
Yeah.
So are you a parts replacer or are you actually a mechanic?
Exactly. That. Okay, so friends, what Donny said, we got it basically torn down now. The next door deal, next time he comes out, which you guys will have a part in because we got to rib him. We got to rib him now. Give him the shot in the elbow and say, let's get that thing going. I'm kidding you, Donny.
Yeah.
But you said what was next on degree wheel?
Yeah. So we're gonna bring over a degree wheel and we're gonna degree the port timing, and then we're gonna port it to what we used to do years ago for our work saws, and make it a little ripper.
Well. That was an absolute I can't even really explain that. I mean, I know I make a big deal of it, friends, but I mean, yeah, babe.
Going to get ice cream.
Where?
49.
Okay.
We made rookies.
I like ice cream.
Brownie cookies we made.
So you're going to get some ice cream?
Yeah.
You coming back?
Yeah.
Let's party. Okay. Donny's a busy, busy man. And, you know, here's how I see this. And you're going to make time for the people you want to make time for in your life. Okay? You just are. Donny Walker just made time for me. And I appreciate that, Don. When you'll watch this video, I know you will, Donny Walker. And I appreciate it, buddy. I really do. And I'll tell you who else appreciates it. The 200 and something, the almost 200,000 people that come to this channel now, Don Walker. So your family has been a major, major part in my life, in my career as a faller and a tree guy. So you guys are special to me. And Holly and Bob, you guys, we go back so far. You know, all of us. What a community, you know, really. But I was over at Bobby Walker's there a couple of years ago. We did a couple of interviews in that, and then Logger Sports kicked in, and everybody's life gets busy, and it's so hard to track people down. And I don't want to bug Bobby Walker. He's you know, he does what he does. He's really heavy into the sauce still. And then Donny shows up and pops over and comes, and so it's cool. We'll see Bob again. We'll go see Bob. We will. Bobby, if you're watching, we'll come see you. Actually, I got a power saw over at Bobby Walker's. I do. So, friends, I want to thank Donny for coming over and seeing us. We'll catch you on the next video. The next time he's going to come over, we're going to put the degree wheel on and we're going to learn all about that. Over and out.